Hey, Merry Christmas. Hope everybody's doing well. Uh, I'm sitting around tonight working my security job, midnight shift. All's quiet. It's a good night here in Knoxville, Tennessee. And this time of the year, I always take time to reflect about an incident that happened to me back in the early 90s when I was a Washington, D.C. police officer. It was it was Christmas Eve, or actually, I was working the midnight shift, so it actually would have been Christmas Day. It was about, say, I don't know, 3 a.m. Got a radio run call to investigate a domestic violence assault. And, times were different back then. The way we handled stuff. I was riding by myself that night and met the complainant. This lady said her husband had beat her up and that she knew where he was at. He was on a corner close to her house. And so we got the call to go. On the way there, I'd asked her, does he have any weapons? And she goes, well, he's got a gun, but it's in the house locked up. I was like, okay. Well, I was like, we'll deal with him, and then maybe I'll deal with the gun issue after that. But what happened was we were turning down a street towards close to her house, and she goes, oh, there he is. So I saw this guy. He was sitting on the back of a car, and he was talking to someone. He's leaning on the trunk. And there was another officer that was on his way, my good buddy Billy Chapman. He was going to back me up on the call. So, things happen quick, right? So he was right there. He saw us, and I got out of the car and I said, hey, man, I need to talk to you for a second. And he was chill. He said, no problem, officer. And he just sit there on the back of that trunk. The person who was with him walked away. And so I remember it was really, really cold that night. I mean, it was freezing cold. The streets were icy. And I started walking towards him. And right when I got within a couple of feet of him, he made a motion, put his hand inside of his jacket, and I seen him coming out, seen a gun in his hand. And so it happened so fast, I didn't even have time to grab my gun. I just grabbed his hand, and the struggle was on. And, we were going at it. We were fighting there, hand-to-hand combat in the middle of Marion Street. It was 1500 block of Marion Street, Northwest, and Northwest Washington, D.C. We were fighting, and we went to the ground. And I got leverage on him, and when I got leverage on him, hey, I'm fighting for my life, He was trying to kill me, so I did what I had to do, and I was able to finally rip that gun out of his hand and toss it, but we're still fighting on the ground. I mean, it's a real fight. And so my buddy Billy Chapman, he gets there, he jumps out, and he runs up, and we were able to get the guy on his stomach and get his arms behind his back and get him handcuffed. But I remembered something. Once we fell to the ground, I heard a clink. I mean, I heard a clink sound, and I remembered it. And so I rolled him back on his side, and I reached down into his waistband area, and sure enough, he had another gun. So he had two guns. So got that one out, and I was able to place him under arrest, and I didn't get killed, and other than a few bumps, I mean, he was okay also, but my life did flash before my eyes, because we were fighting for a couple of minutes, and he was trying to kill me. So all's well that ends well. My buddy Billy Chapman, I'm thankful that it was him. Got the call to come help me, because he's a stand-up guy, and he helped me get the guy under control and get him locked up, and then he could tell I was kind of shook up a little bit. And see, I don't smoke at all. I don't smoke. Never have smoked. But Chapman, he said, hey, man, here, smoke this, it'll help you calm down. So for the first time in my life, man, he gave me a cool cigarette, and I smoked and I remember he laughed and laughed about that later, man. You know, he laughed about me smoking that cool cigarette. So it did help me to calm down a little bit. But you know, you just never know what's going to happen out there. These officers that are working out here, you know, especially ones late at night, you know, dealing with all kinds of craziness. You just never know what you're going to get, man. I mean, I was just riding around, and I just happened to be one to get the call, you know, that night. But you know, I always think about that this time of the year, close to Christmas, because, you know, it's something that stuck with me over the years. But I won. So listen, you guys have a good night. Merry Christmas to you. And I'll check in with everybody soon. Good night.